Why has everyone in the history focused on the guy with the big stick, the hero, the activist, on the neglect of the poor slog, the pacifist, the victim? These are the lines taken from the book The Criminal and His Victim, which was written by Hans von Hentig. Namaste. I'm Vaishali Sharma from Amity Institute of Forensic Sciences, Amity University, Noida. Crime is something that is prevalent in the society since times immemorial. It is the legal system, the justice system, and laws regarding them which evolve. If we talk about the ancient Indian justice system, it was based upon the principles of restitution, retribution, which were mentioned in Vedas and Upanishads, and the status of victims in India devoted due to invasion by the foreign forces. In other parts of the world, this demotion happened due to industrial revolution first, due to which the authorities became greedy and corrupt. There was a prolonged ignorance towards the rights of victims. This led to emergence of a new branch termed as victimology. Sir Benjamin Mendelssohn in 1947 stated that victimization, it is the etiology of the victimization, the interaction between criminal justice system, victim, and the criminal. According to Indian laws and Section 2A of CRPC, victim is the person who suffers any loss or injury caused by reason of act or omission for which an accused person has been charged, and the expression of victim includes his or her legal heir or guardian. If we talk about methodology, the study was conducted by analyzing descriptive information and Indian case studies. The data used for NCRB and NHRC. I personally visited the district courts of Panipat, Haryana under guidance of two senior lawyers who helped me in interviewing 20 victims of various offences. These offences were sexual assaults, murder, suicide, and various SC/ST acts. And I also conducted interviews of 10 senior lawyers to understand the ground reality and situation of victims at police stations, in the courtroom, and at the hands of judges and court staff. The results I came across were not so good. It was found that there are a number of provisions that are entitled to the victims about many offences, be it CRPC, Indian Penal Code, that state what should be done to a criminal for doing certain crimes rather than focusing that how to help a victim who has been damaged or suffered any loss. It was found that victims did not have much information, irrespective of the rights that are already entitled to them. They had no information about courtroom proceedings, the ethical dressing sense, what sort of behavior they have to show inside the courtroom, their rights, and faced problems in harassment at the hands of police personnel. The most problems were faced by the victims of sexual offences, as they had to face the insensitive attitude by police, where opposite party attorneys also made derogatory comments, and court staff too was not quite sensitive towards them. 85% of the victims accepted that if they had professional help and counseling before the trial would help them in understanding what sort of behavior they have to show inside the courtroom, how they have to make the statement, and what will be the trial process. Also, 80% of the lawyers agreed that if the victim party comes to them after having proper guidance and counseling done by a professional, it would be easier to handle them. The victims of specific crimes, like the custodial crimes, have to face much problems in comparison to other victims. This is quite observed by the low conviction rate of police personnel in custodial crime cases, the custodial torture and police brutality often done. The plight of female victims, especially the ones who are minors, are even more pitiable. There is humiliation by legal personnel, and they lack the medical assistance regarding prevention of pregnancy and sexually transmitted disease. There is no psychological help provided to them at the ground level, though there are provisions already made in the laws and their rights. After all this, I would like to conclude by saying, though there are a number of provisions and rights entitled to the Indian victims, there is still an exigency for experts of victimology, that is, the victimologists, who would not only act as counselors or expert witness, but rather specially trained investigators in the cases of minor victims and juvenile victims, members of law commissions, and often act as forensic psychologists if they have the qualifications of so. Also, there is a strong need for statutory rights of restoration, rehabilitation for the victims, a sensitization of legal personnel towards the victims and the problems faced by them, and there is a very strong need to make the Indian justice system victim oriented. This would lead to regaining the trust of victims in their legal system. Thank you.